Okay, so I'm getting into my third Pcup race at VIR, and I'm starting in P13 by I set about a 150.2, and right off the start I do gain a couple positions maybe, but I do have a little pressure from the car right behind, and there's a couple spins into turn one, which helps me out a whole lot, so I'm able to gain 2 or so positions out of that. And then, coming into the area just before the S's, this part's a little tricky, I think. But I gain a little position right there. And maybe not, he does pass me back, but we're having a nice little battle here. Then right before getting the S's, I don't have the greatest line. I kind of hop below the curb, go through the grass. And I'm now 3/10 behind P number 9. Then coming in the second part of the S's, I really want to maximize that corner right there. It really should be flat out, just a little lift. And that corner, coming on this little straightaway, is probably my best corner in the entire track. Then down the inside into this, not quite hairpin, but I do end up making contact with him. He does get back around me, barely. More contact, doesn't matter. No instant points out of that. So now onto the very long straightaway. I have some slipstream on the car in front. He doesn't. So here I really just have to pull in front of him. He kind of backs out just a little bit because you don't want to take this corner side by side. So then coming into roller coaster, he's right behind me. 6/10 of the car in front. Really need to get a good exit out of the final corner so I can keep in slipstream the car in front to hopefully have a chance at a move down into turn one. And then I chose this race to do just because it seemed like it was the best one I'd had so far, and I just came out of a race right now. It wasn't too good, and I was doing things like that where I would just spin among getting like T-boned a few times. That just happens in Pcup. Unfortunate, but just how it is. So then now I'm back to P12, so I lost two or three positions off that little spin in turn one. Just because I locked the brakes up and turned in too quick. Then get a pretty decent run out of the first part of the S's, and I really just want to keep slipstream on the car in front, and I keep blinking in and out of existence throughout this entire race for some reason. Through the second set of the S's, I do gain just a little bit on the car in front, lock up, overshoot the apex, and lose any advantage I just gained. Now I do get a fairly decent run through this next series of corners, but still not quite enough to gain a bunch of time on the car in front. I do gain probably 2/10 on him though. But now he's closer to the cars in front, so he'll have slipstream. I do get a little bit on him, and the pack in front of him is fighting. So that should slow all of us down, bring us all pretty close. And then I have no idea what I did right there. I think I got scared of the cars in front going off, so I just spiked the brake pressure and locked right up and kind of slid a little bit, but I do gain position out of it. And then keep an eye on car number 14. He'll be a pretty important character a little later on. And even car number 10. Car number 10 and me were kind of going at it in a race before, where he did end up actually wrecking me off a very questionable move on the backstretch. And then through turn one, the car in front does go off, but I kind of over rev and just spin my tires a little too much. So I'm not able to capitalize on his mistake. Then there's a car side by side with me right now who does make the overtake. And this part, car number 18 is a lap down, so it's getting really stacked up. Then here comes 14, just right alongside me through the S's. I do get back right in front of him, but 18 is holding me up really bad. So I'm on the radio right now telling him to get out of the way because he's in the way and going to cause an accident. So the top of this hill, this entire section is flat out. He doesn't lift, hits the brakes. I have to brake, and then I get tagged right into the wall by car 14. And 14 ends up being totally fine. He goes on, and he finishes in like the top 10. Which is really annoying. Because I don't think, like, yeah, I did brake in that high-speed corner, but I broke because the car in front of me broke. So at that point, there's really not much for me to do. And it's just unfortunate that he wasn't really paying very much attention. And you see car number 18 just doing donuts. I don't know how he ended up in there. I think he cut that last, or those parts of the corner, or something. I'm not too sure how he got there. But coming into just before roller coaster, I'm gaining a little bit on that tag heuer car in front. And you can see car 14 is battling with the KFC car. But somehow 14 does end up pulling a pretty decent gap on the KFC car. And I'm going to try to look for a move down the inside in the front straightaway on car 20. And it looks like I am able to get pretty clear. He is right next to me, but as long as I just brake enough and just stick tight to the apex, I should make the move, and I do make the move done. And now, next I just have the KFC car to overtake. I am at P17, so I basically got put pretty close to last. And the KFC car gets a great exit out of that corner, and I really don't. I go just a little too deep, and that compromises the exit that I would get. Now through the second part of the S's, I'm still over a second behind KFC car, and then even though this next corner is my best, I still lost just a little bit of time on him. He just got a little better run, and it could be because I might have damage. Then I get a really good line through that. And now on the long back straightaway, 6/10 behind him in a slipstream. Should be able to gain on him. He's 3 seconds behind 14, so he doesn't have any help. He just has to hope that I don't pass him right here. And I'm not able to catch him enough. He's just able to barely stay ahead of me. But this does set me up really well if I can stay right with him onto the front stretch. So I can do that. I can get a lot of slipstream and be able to eventually pass him, hopefully into turn 1. I do get a little snap of oversteer. In that corner, it's very easy to just throttle too much and then spin your car out or snap oversteer like what I did. But I was able to save it, so I am fine. And into turn 1, I get a great run on him. Somehow, I make it work around the outside on the KFC car. I'm not too sure if it's because he just got a bad exit or what, but I'm able to clear him completely through that. And then now he's going to be under pressure from number 20, because at this point I'm not too worried about him. And then skipping on to up 11, not too much happens. I only really gained 1 position. I was able to set a new lap time of 49.6, but I invalidated it by going off the track. So that lap doesn't count. However, now I have number 12, Luis, in front of me. And Luis has also been complaining about 18. So I guess at some point, or not 18, car 14. At some point, car 14 was also causing issues with Luis. And that's how Luis dropped all the way back to where he is, because he was up in a few higher positions than he is now. So he had said that 14 had either sent like a dive bomb on him, which I wouldn't put it past 14 to do that, and just got Luis out, and Luis to fall all the way back. And if you notice, that is the car that started right in front of me at the beginning of this race. But now I'm about 1.2 seconds behind Luis, coming just right before roller coaster. Really want to get a good braking zone so I can gain a bunch of time on him. It seems like I am gaining on him throughout the entire lap. I think he doesn't quite get as good entrances to corners as I am right now. And by no means am I driving this track very well. I still struggle a lot with several corners. But then coming on the front stretch, I'm 7/10 behind him. And I do end up actually setting my fastest lap, which is a 49.2 or 49.3. And unfortunately, that is the fastest lap I will set throughout the entire race, but it ended up going really well. Like, as you can see, the quickest lap is almost in the 47s. So in my split, which was about 1700, I think, the fastest laps are starting to get into the 47s, which is pretty fast, because top split is about 46, maybe 45. Or now it might be about 45s, but I'm in about the 1.7k strength field lobbies. And looking through here to try to gain position on the Luis. I'm sorry, I don't know what the corners' names are at this part, but I get a really, really good run through this corner, but Luis does too. We take almost identical lines to the corner. And coming on the long back straightaway, I'm starting to gain on Luis because I have slipstream. And there's 16 or so seconds to the cars in front of us. But coming up to roller coaster, Luis just lets off. Just pulls over, lets me through. I don't know what that was about, but he just did. So anyway, after I was able to get by Luis, I still have 16 seconds the cars in front. There's not really any way I'm able to get up to them with what's basically just 3 laps to go at this point. And I still am blinking like crazy. I don't understand why. So I really don't think I was lagging, but I guess iRacing thinks I was. So now that I'm clear of Luis, all I have is Pedro up in front, I am gaining on him. So I don't know if there was an incident. I believe my spotter did tell me there was at some point. So maybe they just all went off track together or something. Because even though I was setting at that point fairly quick laps, I don't believe it was still fast enough to gain that much time. And then now the time jumps all the way back up. So I'm not too sure what happened there. And then now I just gain a bunch of times. I don't know if there's something wrong just with like my relative or what, because you can see them off to my right. Well, they're already on the straightaway, so they're still pretty far ahead. So I think they just went off track in a few spots. But I still don't know how they're able to gain 9 seconds on me in one corner, or one series of corners. And I am now been pulling a gap on Luis for about half that lap. He started out being a second or so behind. Now was almost 6. He does get the gap down to 2, and then immediately out of the corner, I just get right back ahead of him. I still, for the life of me, don't understand how car 14 is still in 7th, or how he's even in the race still. But coming on to lap 14, I'm P9, and there's not much gaining I can do unless I just hope for an incident. And no incident will actually come out of this, but just hoping there might be. I get really loose out of that corner. And just before the S's, I don't get the greatest line. But then coming into the S's, the line is a little better. Probably still take too much curb. But that series before the S's are pretty difficult for me to get the braking right, because they're pretty tricky corners. And the second part of the S's, I hop the curb just a little bit. I am taking this a lot better than I was. That's probably the best I took it the entire race. Was right there. And this next series of corners, I don't take super great. I'm sliding just a little bit. But I'm really just trying to keep Luis behind me and keep the gap up. But I don't really have to worry about that too much because Luis is setting like 4 seconds a lap slower than I am. I don't know how his pace has dropped off that much, but maybe he has damage or something like that. I don't know, it was just good racing with someone like that. That was able to keep up, but yet I was faster. We were just having really, really good battles. So coming to the checkered flag, I'm in P9 with 5 seconds behind and 20 seconds up front.
From the result of this race.
And that'll do it for my third race at
0.21 safety
VIR.
rating and 26 I rating. So it's not the best race I could have, but from all different things that happened throughout the race, from going from like 11th place down to last at some point, coming back and gaining stuff is still pretty decent. Although this was my third race of the week at VIR, it by far has been the best so far. So this is the only one that I thought was fit to do anything with. So just make sure to like, subscribe, and